Hello, guys. I'm gonna give y'all a couple of minutes to get in here. We can have some church tonight. Hello, hello. I'm gonna finish the last two readings tomorrow for the channel, but I had to take a much needed break to come on here and talk about this here. So welcome. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about narcissistic failure fathers. That's what we're going to talk about. What is the true aftermath of having a narcissistic father that not only has either snorted half of his brain out, but either smoked half of his brain out? We're going to talk about it for real, okay? Hey, Blackberry babes. Hello. You know, when you look at the story of Britney Spears, you know, a lot of people have a great understanding of her, but I can guarantee you that if she was Black, people would not be saying the stuff that they're saying to her. So it is different for Black girls. It is. Okay. I equally feel so bad for Britney Spears and what she's going through. My heart goes out to her. Because what's the point in having all that money and fame when you can't even enjoy it? Because you got your father controlling every aspect of your life. And we're going to talk about it for a second. We're going to talk about your narcissistic father whom you don't have to listen to, especially when you're grown. But you know, if you are a woman of substance or either a man of substance, then a lot of times your narcissistic parent will have an invested interest in controlling you and what you do. Okay. And especially if your parents broke up and your father never got married, or either he's gay or something weird like that. Not saying anything bad about gay people, but you know, I've actually talked to women whose father was gay and they didn't really like them. You know, because if you guys notice, people have lost their minds, especially when it comes to the African American male who's trying to belittle, degrade, and do harm to his children if he's a Christian and you a witch. Let's talk about it. This is possibly a karmic. You want to maybe possibly sometimes look at the past life with your father, who they were in your past life. They could have been a woman in the previous life. Like I said, you know, the universe obviously did something. Obviously. Narcissistic fathers, they don't want to see their children prosper. When you look at narcissistic people, they have an unsurmountable amount of jealousy and envy. They do. They have an unsurmountable amount of jealousy and envy. So if they get jealous over the little smallest things, or they constantly playing the jealousy game, this is the way that they regard their relationships. More than likely, they have that dynamic with their children. And we got to talk about the narcissistic father, because he does exist, and he's causing a lot of problems, a lot of problems in your life, in your spirit, your health. Do narcs just users and abusers? It's a whole other ball game when it's a parent, when it is a parent, when it is your father, when you are, you know, you can tell. Here are subtle ways that you can tell if your father is a narc. If he's too opinionated about your love life, too opinionated about what you, envious or weird whenever you start talking about your life and relationships, and they give you these subtle clues, and they're just very weird. And usually narcissistic fathers are very incestuous with their daughters. That's why you see a lot of women, they don't get married because of their fathers. You see that happening a lot. A lot of these black women that they claim ain't getting married is because of their fathers. There's a spell for that. There's work. There's a ritual for that. A lot of people are frustrated because of this. First of all, when you reach the age of 16, 17, and 18, you're coming upon your, your young adult years. Okay. Now, if you in your 20s, you may be coming into your own and trying to be independent. But when you get in your 30s and 40s and your father is still trying to control you, something is wrong. Something is wrong with your father. And a lot of the times, the reason why your father never lets you go is probably because he done molested you or something as a child. And he still ain't over it, because he was dabbling and dipping in stuff he wasn't supposed to. Narcissism does look very close to sociopathism. I'd say that narcissism is a gateway to becoming a sociopath. Okay, it's a gateway. You'll see them do all kind of strange things too, and will be trying to tell you, like, hey, like, and then, oh my God, let's talk about you witches and your narcissistic father that done committed every atrocity against you and your mama, done messed up your mama's head completely. But he a Christian, and he a good fella, and he's a good shepherd and all that stuff. Narcissistic fathers are jealous of their own kids. These are not people that are really capable of being parents. And a lot of y'all witches have to be careful. Y'all have to keep regular work done on them as long as they exist on this earth, because they'll be doing Bible magic on you and stuff, and be putting your picture in a Bible, and they'll be trying to isolate you and cloak you. Okay, they'll be trying to cloak you with that isolation and craziness and weirdness. And when you get old enough, you start to realize what is going on, especially if your father didn't take good care of you. It seemed like history is just repeating itself. If you don't have enough, whether or not it's clothes, shoes, then you notice that your children end up not having enough. So these are narcissistic fathers are usually the ones that are going to purposely inhibit their children. They're going to inhibit them or try to stop them or slow them down. Because I'm going to be honest with you when it comes to narcissistic men, these are some of the weakest people in the world. These are the type of people you don't want to be around. Okay? He's going to purposely neglect his children while you're little. If you think back, narcissistic fathers, they will take you to go get ice cream. They will, but then when you get home with them, it's a whole other story. It's a whole other another. And they don't let go when you get older. You have to actually do work on them. You have to actually banish and unblock yourself. And you have to, if you have a narcissistic father, you better get smart. Especially if he's perverted and possibly done did drugs for a long amount of time. And typically drugs will and I'm talking about crack cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines. Usually those types of drugs causes a person to lose their mind. You can't just sit back and do nothing. Otherwise all your dreams will be thrown out of the door. And they'll be, look, I have seen narcissistic fathers sit back and take great pleasure out of people attacking their own daughters. I have seen narcissistic fathers sit back and take great pleasure out of their daughters being raped and violated. These are some of the most ruthless people ever. And usually it takes up into your late 30s for you to figure out that this person ain't on your side. Once you do figure this out, you got to do something about it. You can't just sit around and play around with them. I would not have this house. I would not have food in my refrigerator. I would still be on Section 8 getting food stamps and working a menial job. That's exactly how my father wanted me to be. And one of the reasons why is because he became disappointed in me when I was 16, when I was forced to drop out of school because he didn't want to buy me any clothes. He didn't want to do anything for me. Okay. So a lot of kids drop out of school because don't nobody want to go to school and get cracked on in rags and don't nobody want to do that. So some fathers are programmed by society so much so to where it's like, well, you didn't go to school, you didn't go to college, so you can't have nothing. But some of the most wealthiest people in this country have GEDs. They don't have a college education. In fact, a lot of people that have went to college figured out that it was nothing but a scam. It was a way to make money off of you. Instead of a narcissistic father or mother accepting that that wasn't your path for the rest of your life, they running around being covert. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Oh, you mean to tell me that she's practicing that witchcraft? Oh, it's just the devil. No, you're the devil. Your father is the devil. Witchcraft is not the devil. I sat here the other day, did a healing on somebody, literally lifted a whole bunch of stuff off of this person's body. This person was covered in soot and just dust, because that's what they cloak you with, because they want to be right. With narcissistic people, it's always just about being right. So God damn it, if they told you that you was going to be a failure in life, that's exactly what's going to happen. If they told you that all of your men in your life was going to beat your ass, they're going to make sure of it. It's the truth. And y'all know I ain't lying. And those of y'all that had great fathers, and hey, that's on you. It's a lot of people out there that have abusive, narcissistic parents. And they didn't become abusive and narcissistic like their parents. Who wants to be that? That's why they dying of cancer. That's one of the reasons why they die of cancer. They be having all kind of stuff wrong with them, and oh, here's the kicker. The reason why they mad at you is because they shouldn't have never had you. You was a mistake. They're cowards. When you can see and feel and diagnose what they are sending to you spiritually, and if you even utter or whisper a word about it, then all of a sudden they don't love you no more. See, narcissistic people, when you tell them what the problem is, instead of them fucking correcting it, they steadily trying to correct something that don't need to be corrected. And many of them, all they know about is getting a job. If they do start any kind of business or company, they usually can't fare well with other people because they have to be in control all the time. So they don't really work well with others. They don't. They don't work well with others. So they end up being stuck in a position that they don't like. And if they see you as their child and you on the left-hand path, you know, a lot of the young folks, hell, you know, they'll go and make $1 million real quick. Now, unless your daddy is Will Smith, you're going to have some problems. Because if you start making more money than your father, he's going to have a problem with you. Why? I don't know. Why does he care about how much money you make? Why does it matter? It's almost like you become the ex-wife or your mother. Oh, well, I tried to stop your mother all those years, so now I got to do it to you. No, you're not, sir. I got black candles and I got red candles as well. Your narcissistic father, you don't have to obey them at the age of 40 something years old. And that was driving me crazy about one of my, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it. If you have any kind of confidence, they trying to ruin it. They putting people into place. They're working with the people that are stalking you. They're working with the people that are gang stalking you. In fact, a lot of the damn gang stalking is coming from the churches. That's why they're able to be professional haters and still feel good about themselves. And they think that you can't see and hear what the hell they talking about. And they'll say, oh, well, she's just mentally ill. Well, didn't you just have a conversation with somebody about me? You did. Didn't you just talk to your demon God about me, the person that you think is Jesus, but it's not actually Jesus? Jesus wouldn't knock on these people's doors, even if they tried to pay Jesus. Jesus is a very peaceful energy. He's a very healing energy. When a narcissistic person invokes Jesus, you feel nothing but judgment. Judgment for what? I don't know, being human. Judgment for being an ordinary, normal freaking person. And they forever cause problems in your relationship, and they just don't care. They don't care about your path. Hey, how about I came here for my life fulfillment, and what the fuck are you doing still talking to Pastor about me? It's sick. Because at the root of it is their incest. At the root of the problem when it comes to narcissistic fathers that don't want their kids to get anywhere, it's incest. And they will forever try to keep this hold on you. There's this video that's on YouTube called It's Melvin or Marvin or something. And it's a story about this father. He was married to this woman, and he was just having sex with all the kids. He just raped everybody in the damn family. And everybody in that family either had issues or emotional problems, suicidal. And what's sacred about that to them is the suffering that they cause. Does that mean that you're an unlucky person? No, it doesn't. It just means that your parent, whether or not it's male or female, has a mental problem. They have a spiritual problem. That's what the generational curse removals are for, mainly to work on your father, but some of y'all it's your mother, some of y'all it's both. And they're terribly delusional. Oh, you my little girl. They still got pictures of you when you was 11. You didn't think to put a picture of me as a grown woman? Why you still got pictures of me up when I was 11? You know I done took about 5,000 pictures since then. Why don't you put up some updated pictures? Because you're still a child to them. Why? Probably because they're sick in the head and twisted. And it's really, really time for a lot of y'all to break free of that shit mentally and spiritually. And they'll have everybody against you, your man, your mama, your ex, your friends, everybody be going against you. Shit, have two narcissistic parents. You might be screwed over. And narcissistic people are subjected. You know why narcissistic people end up becoming possessed? Because they're too stubborn to listen when somebody tells them something. So these people are extremely at high risk of possession. I was doing a medium session, and I saw this man talking about his daughter to his sick friends, and he was calling her a whore and a dick sucking bitch and all that shit. They're disgusting. Why, pray tell, would your father be worried about what the hell you doing sexually? And you grown. Now, y'all, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if it's normal for your father to be sitting around wondering what you're doing, having sex, if you grown. Put it in the chat. And they will curse your whole life. You'll never have a normal man in your life. Never. You'll never have a successful relationship. They destroy everything. They always looking for somebody. I want to talk to this. I want to talk to this boy. That's boy, man, sit your ass down somewhere. You ain't got no power over me. And then what will they call it? They'll call it love. Don't y'all fall for it. A lot of y'all ladies is beautiful, gorgeous. You know, y'all got a lot that a man is looking for, but you'll sit up there and let your father ruin your self-esteem. And he ain't gonna come straight right out and say it. He's gonna do it under the belt. Okay, and just because y'all don't like each other, what the hell that mean? He can go to jail or get stitches if he won't. Y'all gotta quit playing slave. Listen, you wasn't supposed to be slaves for your parents. You could help them out if you were still living with them. And it's a terrible, terrible cycle that's going through a lot of people's families. They disable the children. They disable their own children. A lot of times, your narcissistic parents, they done screwed up your credit already as a child. That's why you got to get your social security number changed, because they know your social security number. They got it laminated. After you become a certain age, you're supposed to break free of that. But instead, they following you around. They worried about what's coming out of your uterus and what's going in. Sit your ass down somewhere and shut up. And see, the tradition as far as with marriage is that your father is supposed to give you away at your wedding and all that dumb crap. But what if you don't have a father that would be willing to give you away to anybody ever? Next thing you know, you'll be 45, 50 years old and single. You can have stability and financial stability your damn self. You don't need your father to have financial stability. And they know the truth. They just don't want you to know the truth because they got your mind messed up. And the way they got your mind messed up is because they don't convince you that they on your side or they give a damn about you when they actually don't. For some reason, narcissistic parents have made up in their mind that this kid, you ain't even talked to him. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, my kid is draining me. You are 70 years old. You can't claim that your kid is draining you, especially when they don't ask you for nothing. You end up on this beautiful earth with all of this bountiful energy, manless, sexless, and broke. And they proud of it. And then you got some of these young and up and coming men in their 30s and 40s, and they just the same. A man is going to treat you the way that they know that your father feels about you, which is retarded and stupid. It's this whole man code thing that they need to completely throw out because it's garbage. And you know, narcissistic people will pretend that they hate you just so that other people will hate you. That's how they control weak-minded people. They went through every scenario. How'd you do that? What did you do? Did you sell some booty? Did you do that? No, I was selling rituals and spells and readings. That's how I did that. Oh, well, witchcraft is not real. Well, then why does your Bible condemn it? If witchcraft was not real, why did so many people die in the bloody crusades if it was not real? And the only reason why the Bible condemns it is because the Bible was created to control you. And many, especially Black women, man, yeah, a lot of Black women are going through it because of this, because of religion. And then they'll say, oh, it's the white people. And then they'll go get a token white person. No, this is the blood. You doing this through your blood. So that's why a lot of us, we eat a serious diet with garlic, because garlic purifies the blood. By the time you in your 30s and 40s, hell, if you got a narcissistic father, you need to be no contact. He need to have his ass over there, and then you have your ass over where you at. Especially if he's narcissistic, because he ain't gonna do nothing but cause problems. A lot of y'all right now are getting ready to get thrown out of where you live. Your lights is turned off. You can't even fucking listen to me right now because your lights is turned off, your internet is turned off, and y'all like, damn, why am I so unstable? You gotta look to your father sometimes. Now that ain't every time, but if you a hardworking person and you putting in work, they may have binded you with something. I just had to remove a binding from a client. This is no joke. If you have supportive parents that respect you, they're not going to go around and say, oh, she was a prostitute and she was a hoe and fuck that bitch. And if you don't have somebody doing stuff like that, how you think things are going to turn out for you? They're going to turn out better, ain't they? The problem with your narcissistic parents is that they represent you too much. That's why you have to speak out. This is the reason why children that are being abused have to speak out, because they'll put all kind of binding spirits on you, have your mind all messed up for years, to the point where you won't even know who you are. Have y'all ever seen that movie Rosemary's Baby? Even though that movie was crazy because she got pregnant by the devil. But if you notice, just her name, Rosemary, improves your memory and your concentration. Okay. The herb rosemary. You notice how in that movie you didn't see her father around? You didn't see Rosemary's father, did you? You saw an older man that she sort of took on as a surrogate father, and he was a good guy. He died looking out for her. Your narcissistic father is a coward. He's not gonna do the right thing. Especially if you had a narcissistic father that was on drugs or still is on drugs, just keeping it a secret. They will do smear campaigns against you. They'll be buddy buddy. They'll sit back and they'll watch you, especially if you got somebody that call themselves a devout Christian. Oh, I'm a devout Christian, so I feel the need to mentally and spiritually torture my own child because she practicing witchcraft, and I don't like the fact that she doing that because she getting too much. She getting too far ahead. And when your father is doing stuff like that, you have every right to not obey them. Every right. They steady sending people and calling people and people that are subservient to their parents. They willing to help. They like, well, she got to do what her father tell her to do. In her 30s and 40s, what kind of sick people are these people? They got movies out about fathers like that, about narcissistic fathers. And literally, hell, how ruthless they are, you have to ask yourself, are you even my real, like did y'all do some kind of black market adoption? I've wondered that quite often, because you don't even feel connected to them. Maybe they were your real parent when they created you, but the soul seems to be gone. Hell, when you got a narcissistic father, if you gonna talk to your man about loyalty, it's got to be, you can't go against me for my crazy father at all, or we gonna have some problems. Because some fathers is best to just not have them around at all. Okay? Because they just negative about everything. Your mama come up to him and say, hey, I got this job down here. Oh, that fucking job ain't shit. You should go out there and sell some pussy or something. That some of y'all dealt with, so y'all mama, and then y'all grow up and be like, mama, why you didn't have my daddy around? Shit. And people be running around here crying about their daddy, disgracing the only person that was there for them, that raised them and tried to do a halfway good job. I understand how some of these women get towards their kids, which it's a learning process for a lot of people that came from broken homes. But you can't dare allow this to happen in your generation. It's a generational curse. And they got the Bible in their hand, trying to condemn you for practicing witchcraft when they having all kind of unclean thoughts. Don't put so much crap in y'all. It's ridiculous. So y'all need to get up in here and get them Gen X removed, because y'all gonna drive me crazy. Y'all got the solution, don't you? Don't you got the solution? You got to do it before you get too damn old. But you're never too old. You got to prepare yourself for that ritual, because depending on the blocks that they put on you, that's why, as a witch, we have to work with the dark side. That's why we have to work with entities like Lilith and Lucifer and Clonic and Boone, because your father done sold you to those demons. There was a contract on you. And I don't understand why people just won't accept what is. It is what it is. You do what you got to do and you move on and you don't think about it. Staying wrapped up and trapped and perverted. I know it's a lot of girls, they like, shoot, that's my daddy. That's my daddy. That's daddy. Right. Right. While you sit there and struggle your whole life. Okay, sis, you do what you do then. What good is having a father when he ain't upholding your grace or your value? Nothing. He's pointless. He's worthless. And when they see their kids doing good after they get older, instead of them congratulating you, they hating on you, doing plots against you. Got a whole goddamn church or some dumb bull crap. All of y'all got different stories. Some of y'all got narcissistic fathers that are practitioners. They actually practice magic. And, if you a woman, sometimes you just got to look at daddy and say, hey, dude, I'm out. And they'll follow you everywhere, watching, wishing bad on you. You can hear them, you can see them. And they want you to call them and beg them for something. It's sick. It's all about being corrupted and wanting to have power over somebody. And I don't care who you are or what kind of species you are, whether or not you a Nephilim or a reptilian or a vampire or a wolf, whatever the hell you shape-shifting into, you still don't do your kids like that. And please believe that a narc father, he's leading you towards prostitution. Oh, you a woman, you ain't supposed to be running no successful company. Oh, you just a woman. You want to put your life on that, buddy? You want to bet your life on it? And them cards don't lie. They don't. Y'all be throwing your cards and y'all be seeing that emperor come up in the reverse position. And y'all just be like, this is my ex, and this is so and so, and this is so and so and so and so. No, that's your father. King of Wands is your father. If it's in the reverse position, he ain't no good. Okay. And those are just big facts. There was no rule book except for the Bible that said, you shall honor thy father and thy mother. It says it, but it also says that they're not supposed to provoke their children. But see, especially if you a witch, they probably knew your mama was a witch. They knew you was a witch. So then what's their problem? Is a dog not a dog? Is a owl not a owl? Is a turtle not a turtle? Is a snake not a snake? If somebody is a witch, when they grow, that's not going to change. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to change it. So then they have the choice to just leave you the fuck alone. They have that choice, don't they? Yeah, they do. Some of your fathers are misogynistic. It don't matter that you their daughter. They don't like women. A lot of these misogynistic men that you see with daughters, they don't like women, including their own kids. You're going to see a difference in the way that they treat you versus your brothers. They're going to treat you as if you're incapable. And they're highly delusional. Excuse me, and they still up to it. Excuse me, we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic and you still being an idiot because they're delusional. To be honest with you, that's why a lot of y'all doing bad. This ain't a time for people to be doing bad. This is a time for people to grow and expand. And some of your narcissistic fathers, they don't like you because they got mad at your mama. Narcissistic men are extremely effeminate, emotional. They are some of the worst types of men. And no man should ever aspire to be a narc. Now the narcs are under possession. Okay, and those are just the facts. Live your life, be free, open the door to your personal healing and happiness. Okay, and that's really the only way to do it. Is with that generational hex remover because it's a very complicated process. Now, some of y'all may not need that. Some of y'all might need door openers, not road openers, door openers. Can be the same thing. But if you do road openers, if you call it a road opener, that might have you moving around a whole lot. You know, you just want to open up doors. You don't necessarily want to open the road unless you're planning on doing some traveling or moving. And it just follows you. Everywhere you go, every house you live at, every damn where you go, they steadily sending stuff. You can conjure spirits out of that Bible. So Christian people are not innocent. Not in the least. And an anxiety panic attack don't scare me. Some people, that shit will mess them up. That don't scare me. I almost had a nervous breakdown a couple of months ago. So stuff like that don't scare me. Y'all got to quit being so damn scared and get your head together. Okay? I know that y'all want daddy, but you know, sometimes you got to have a spiritual daddy. My spiritual daddy is chronic. Okay? Because I like to be secure. I like my security. I don't like to be hanging on in the edge of night. And you don't have to live like that. And these agents that they send to be your man, well, forget about them. Who cares? They made the choice to be a part of something sick like that. A sick, old, weird pedophile trying to control his grown daughter. Find you somebody healthy in the mind, body, and spirit that you can do your rituals with, your spells with, that you can laugh with all day, love and hug and play out in the field together. just outside on the barefoot grass, hugging up against a tree or something. Our narcissistic fathers are the reason why we ain't having sex every damn day. And you supposed to have, they go completely against nature. That whole Bible goes totally against nature. If you notice, that's why I don't allow it in my house. Not even Psalms. I don't even play around with it. If I ever think about picking up Psalms, I give myself an exorcism because I know that there's something of my something in my bloodline that I need to clear out. I like to make me something with a bunch of garlic in it and clear me out, cleanse me of this crap because this is stupid. You'd have less struggle in your life. You do better. You do good in your life. I'm going to tell you something. In 2018, when I first got that Gen Hex remover, I felt something pop in my chest. It was almost like a string or a chain that just, and you can tell signs and symptoms that it's a generational thing or that somebody is trying to bind you or cloak you with some kind of stupid energy is if you feel all that tightness in your chest and your stomach area. See, that's your spirit. That's your chakras letting you know that something ain't right. And you will consistently have instability in your life as long as you stay up underneath that. Now, I'm not saying that all of y'all fathers like that. Some of y'all that don't have fathers that are like that, and you may be a witch and they like, hey, live and let live. But some of y'all got fathers that'll say that shit to y'all, but then be plotting against you behind your back and they are. Okay, especially here's another sign that your father is a covert narc is when everybody talking to you, like they your daddy, or like you ain't no grown woman that's been taking care of yourself for years. People get to talking crazy and disrespectful to you. Usually, if you are loved appropriately by your father, you don't have to deal with that. And there was a Chinese proverb that said that what the parents want for the child is what they will have. And that doesn't mean that you have to stick with that, but it's a very, very, very correct and true Chinese proverb that speaks of generational curses. Okay? And if you had a narcissistic father that died, you have to make sure that you are understanding what the hell their spirit is doing to you. That's why people speak of having bad ancestors. Okay? And you'll start to manifest. You'll start to have things. You'll start to build things. And who cares about their stupid narcissistic agents? They don't have much of a brain to think. They just do what they told. And you got to work with like I can tell you, Bass helped me a lot in July and June, which is an ancient Egyptian god. Okay, otherwise you just either be codependent on your parents your whole life, living with your, and if that's what you want, then that's what you want. If you got little ones that you need to get them ready for life, your narcissistic father, here's where it gets real deep and ugly. You might be a sacrifice for them. It's almost like they making plans to bury you and your children like in that movie Flowers in the Attic, only it was the mother. Only it was the mother that wasn't no good in that movie. And a lot of people would say that the father was no good either because he was sleeping with his niece. So the children that they created were created in that movie out of incest. I read that book when I was 12 years old, the actual book, Flowers in the Attic. It's just real sad and just sinister. Break free of that crap. Go have a normal sex life. You know, slapping yourself in the back with a whip. Oh, I'm having sexual thoughts about having sex with somebody. What you supposed to? Okay, if you having sexual thoughts of having sex with somebody in your family, or a dog, or a cat, or some crazy shit like that, then you know you may need to get you some help, or you might be demonic. But if you have a normal sexual appetite with somebody that you like, that's normal. Okay? Ain't nobody supposed to be sitting there all night long reading the Bible. You supposed to be making love all night long. You ain't supposed to be sitting up there, I'm just gonna read this scripture. You know, and it done drove a lot of people crazy. Y'all need to look at that movie called The Curse. It came out in the 1970s. It showed a family on there. The father had all of a sudden just lost his mind. He was all into the scripture. The woman was trying to make love to her husband. He was like, no, we're not having sex. A woman is not supposed to ask a man for sex. And he want to sit there and read the good book all night. So she went and cheated on him with the farm help, right? So the night she cheated, some big comet came down onto the earth. It kind of looked like Venus a little bit. So that movie was symbolic a lot of what we're dealing with. And so the meteor came down and it poisoned all of the foods, all the animals on the farm. Y'all to watch that movie. It's very scary though. I know when I was a kid, I watched it and it was extremely scary, especially when all you want as a woman is you know, is a partner in life. Why y'all think all these people? I ain't even gonna go there about that because then people would argue me up and down. Uh, but I got my suspicions about R. Kelly. Why is R. Kelly's daughter a boy? What the hell happened? I mean, I'm not necessarily accusing R. Kelly or nothing, but it's something that make you go, hmm. Especially if your father done raped you or something, you know, he don't never get over that. So for the rest of your life, he's trying to push, you know, everybody away from you. And listen, you know, narcissistic people act like folk got to be perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody's everyday perfect. You gonna have problems with people. You gonna disagree. You gonna have issues sometimes. But they always make mountains out of molehills. They make problems bigger than what they are. This is the reason why you can't date somebody that is acquainted with your narc parents. You just can't do it. Because the narc is programming. That's all narcs know how to do is they don't know how to actually love. All they know how to do is program a person. I mean, it's exhausting dealing with narcissistic people. It's all a tisk a tat. Just would you like let go? Be free? Does somebody have to throw a bucket of water on you? They need to do the ice water bucket challenge, maybe. Not that that would change them. That probably wouldn't necessarily work. And if you were a narc, you need to be careful because, you know, I couldn't even imagine being a narcissistic person. I couldn't even imagine. Because they don't get no kind of pleasure out of life. All they do is sit and worry all day and night and think about things that ain't even there and create fears. These are the agents of the demon of fear. Narcissistic people, they are the carriers of fear. And some of them are carriers of poverty. And they don't think, why would a narcissistic father be competing with his daughter when he don't even have any children to worry about because you're already grown and you got children to raise and to get ready for their life, and he running around trying to make stuff harder on you. Now, that's where you need to be concerned about where the energy is coming in for your children. Because y'all know when your narc parent attacks you, your children are going to be directly affected by their stagnation, by their blocks, by their jealousy, by their hatred, the obstacles that they create. Okay, like I said, we see these good fathers in these movies, but we don't have them in real life. My favorite movie dad is the father. His name is Michael in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. But how many men do you know would have turned down that free coochie from the nanny? Not too many. Many of them are corrupt and they need to get it together. And narcissistic people, all they know how to do is talk shit and not let it make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense, the shit that they talk. That they don't know how to come and say, you know what? I have been doing that to you and I apologize. They don't know how to do that. That narcissistic people, they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to just simply apologize for what they've done. It's very difficult for them because they're very stubborn and they're possessed by demons. Okay? So quit sitting around crying and y'all sit up here and think the world. I'm going to tell you the number one symptom that you were raised by a narcissistic father or mother, sitting around crying and boo-hooing, talking about how horrible the world is when you don't even realize that your brain has been programmed to be afraid of the world and to not do good in it. You got to break that programming. All right, y'all, I gotta go. I don't know if y'all seen my new website. It is very beautiful. Go visit it. And we got a new moon coming up in a couple of days. What you gonna do? You gonna go another year like this? And a lot of y'all that's waiting on them life insurance policies, it ain't gonna never come. A lot of y'all will sit up there and have your parents control you your whole life and say, I'm gonna write you out of my will. Well, good. That's why you gotta be new money, young money. Especially a lot of y'all in the Black community who had absent fathers or either honorary fathers that didn't give a damn about you. You can't give up your whole life and your happiness and your fulfillment in life just because your daddy didn't care. Now tell me, what sense does that make? And a lot of y'all are dealing with that reality. And they are spiritually doing things. They're doing things spiritually. I would recommend the Gen Hex remover or do that coffin spell. Get that crap out of get that crap away from you. That aspect of myself is gone. It ain't that they got to die. Ain't nobody threatening to kill them, but they just got to get the hell away from you. They ain't got to go home, but they just got to get the hell away from you because they don't know how to stop exploiting you because they've been using you as an excuse their whole life since you was born. Who uses their children as an excuse to explain away their faults? You supposed to be the father. You supposed to be the mother. I don't care if your kid stole $15,000-$20,000 from you. You supposed to have the power to overcome that as the parent. Okay? So y'all come holler at me when y'all get tired of that crap. Because a lot of y'all, your narcissistic parent done passed away. And you sitting up there sexually frustrated, sick, and half dead. They pulling you in the grave with them. Because narc parents, they want you to be afraid of the world. They want you to be afraid of your own shadow. They want you scared. Because they're demons. If a parent starts acting like that, if they ever acted like that, you can be assured that it is demonic possession. A good parent is not going to let themselves be taken over like that because they're going to think about their children and they're going to think about themselves. But, sometimes they just don't give a damn, especially if they've been on some kind of narcotic half of your life. Narcotics make people not give a damn. It makes people numb to where they can't feel nothing. They're capable of doing some disgusting things and not give a damn because of that narcotic that they own. So if it's already a narcissistic person and they own some kind of narcotic, oh baby, you're gonna need a little bit more than you gonna need a little bit more than what you think, than what a lot of people are thinking. And I see people all the time running around spreading. Can't nobody come and tell me nothing spiritual when you living with your auntie or you living with your mama and you living with your family. You can't tell me nothing spiritually. You can't give me no spiritual advice. You can't throw a deity at me because clearly whatever deity you working with, even Jesus, they got Jesus frequencies on here for prosperity and abundance. So what's wrong with your version of Jesus? And all of that crap is all that, I could get into more, but I'm not. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. I will see y'all later. Okay? Because a lot of y'all black sheep are finding out that just because you made up your mind to do something, you was still stuck, wasn't you? Wasn't nothing happening because you have spiritual chains on you. They using that spiritual whip on you. Okay, and if that's the case, if you got somebody using mind control over you like that, what do? You got to break free. You got to free your mind. You got to free your spirit. You got to open up them doors. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. For generational hex removers that work, you guys can contact me at the link below. It is all confidential, I promise you. And you just have to understand that this is what it requires. Because guess what? Now you got to pay your daddy's debt. Ain't that a bitch? But that's just the way that it works. Okay. So that's why that ritual is so expensive, because you're paying off a debt that you didn't even do. You didn't create that debt. Your parents did. because they didn't know the right thing to do. They didn't know how to do the right thing. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. I'm going to get the rest of the readings done tomorrow. I'm about to take myself to sleep. Okay. And you ain't got to keep fighting. You know what I hate when people say, keep fighting the good fight. Well, what the hell you got to fight for it for? It's yours. It's your birthright. You ain't got to fight for nothing. Just do the work and keep it moving, and you'll see change happen in your life. Okay, y'all, I gotta go. Love and light.